Welcome. This is Mr. Fisher Flips 3rd grade, and as you can tell, we're going to be multiplying and dividing with the 6 times tables. To start out today, we're going to look at the times tables and some video links that are going to be on the blog. A quick overview of Chapter 2 will be helpful, especially for those that are wondering where we're at. This will give you a quick overview of where we're going. We're going to do some math problems with the anytime problem, math expressions. We're going to explore, model, apply, problem solve using the sixes. We're going to do a quick practice with some sixes. One of your assignments will be to bring some everyday items that come in sixes. You'll also have a math assignment. Let's get on with the 6 times table. It's suggested there are some 6 times tables links that will be on the website.
I got 6, that's all there is.
6 times 1 is 6, 1 times 6.
He got 6, I put mine with his, and we got 12.
6 times 2 is 12.
Anyway, there's going to be some links on the website, some that are just going to be off YouTube, like the Schoolhouse Rock videos that we just watched. That was the ones I really like are the ones that are student made. This one's put on by Weber Tube, that's Weber School District. Have a lot of great videos that go along with the curriculum. And this one's always fun.
Up to 30, we'll start with 6, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30.
Multiplying and dividing with 6. Putting 2 3's together, you're going to get the 6's. 3 times 2 is 6. Put 2 3's together, you get 6. And you can do that also with 4 times 3 is 12. Put 2 12's together and you get 6 times 4. So something to be thinking about. But we're going to explore the patterns in 6 count bys, multiplications, and divisions and solvation problems. Here's an overview of chapter. We have the remaining multiplications, that would be the 6's, the 7's, the 8's, and then we're going to problem solve with multiples of 10. That will take about 15 lessons, and so it'll go across about 3 weeks. We'll be able to learn all the 6's, the 7's, and the 8's, and the square numbers before we move on to the 10. As you notice, there are some activities that we'll be doing in class, but for the most part, it's practicing your 6's for the next couple days, and then on Friday we'll be introduced with the 8's. So be practicing, and if you want to, work ahead. Here's our first problem. So this is problem number 1. 2 pens cost 30 cents. 1 pen costs 10 cents more than the other pen. How much does each pen cost? So we got 30 cents total. We've got 2 pens. We've got to decide how much each pen costs. You need to explain how you found your answer to the rest of your group. Make sure you draw a picture of at least the dimes so you can show that where you divided them up. Problem number 1. Let's do some practice now. If we look at products of 6, 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 times 1 is 6. We also have 3 times 2. It should be 2 times 3. Those are the products of 6. We already know 0 times 6, 1 times 6, 2 times 6, 3 times 6, 4 times 6, 5 times 6, and 9 times 6, because we know our 9 time tables. But we don't know 6 times 6, 6 times 7, 6 times 8. Those 3 numbers we're not familiar with. My suggestion this week is to memorize those 3 numbers. 6 times 6 equals 36, 6 times 7 is 42, and 6 times 8 is 48. Check our answer. Practice memorizing 6 times 6, 6 times 7, and 6 times 8. Now, we know that equals 6. 2 times 6 equals 12, 3 times 6 equals 18, 4 times 6 equals 24, and 5 times 6 equals 30. But do we know these? If we just listen to Mr. Fisher, that's 36. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 equals 48. 6 times 9 is 54. And 6 times 10 is 60. Those are our multiplication tables. The math board. We know 6 times 1 is 6. We move this up. 6 times 2 is 12. Go up 6 more. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. Maybe you can see some patterns. I would suggest that you get a separate piece of paper and actually write down 1 times 6 equals 6 and go all the way up to 6 times 10. Do it on a separate piece of paper so that you can practice and then see if you can see any patterns. One of the patterns that you'll see is that there's a pattern right there. Another pattern you might be able to see is that it repeats itself. There's 1 6, there's 2 6s, there's 3 6s, 4 6s. When you see the 6 count bys, do you hear any 3 count bys? If I did the 3 count bys, it'd be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Do you see there's some 3 count bys within the 6s? Contemplate that pattern before we move on. Problem number 2. Use one of the strategies you have learned to find 7 times 6. Show your work. So one of the strategies you could use is counting by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Group those 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count those. Or you could do hearts. Well, let's make it an array. That's even better. Good suggestion. Maybe you have some other ways that you use to show 7 times 6. Make sure you show your work. Problem number 3. Use one of the other strategies you have learned to find 8 times 6. Show your work. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate on this one, so I figure that you will be able to do 8 times 6 with either some of the strategies I just suggested or one of your own. Practicing our 6s. Let's practice our 6 count bys. 1 times 6 equals 6. 2 times 6 equals 12. Let's do it with twin sisters.
You can learn to multiply by starting really slow. Practice each and every day and all the facts you know.
6 times 1 is 6.
6 times 2 is 12.
6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24.
6 times 5 is 30.
6 times 6 is 36.
And the 2 hard ones.
6 times 7 is 42.
6 times 8 is 48.
6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 10 is 60.
Practice with the multiplication table. Make sure you go through your 6s. If you haven't got this sheet, it's coming home with the 8s, the 7s, and the squares. That should be coming home in your homework. Here's a practice that we'll be doing in class. See if you put those in a row. 6 times 10 equals 60. And see if you can put them in the right order. Now, I did show this earlier, but if you notice, these problems right here that we don't know yet. And if we look at that, those problems, 6 times 6 equals 36, 7 times 6 equals 42, and 8 times 6 equals 4. Those ones we haven't memorized yet. We'll memorize the 7s and the 8s later, but those 9 problems are the only ones we have not learned yet. It's kind of exciting to see that we know most of the multiplication tables already. Your assignment that you're going to take home with you is this one. What everyday things come in groups of 6? Your assignment tonight will be to find out what everyday things come in groups of 6. And you need to come back with 2 things that you have found that come in 6s. Take a picture of it or bring it in if it's small, or draw a picture of it, of what you have found. You can look in your refrigerator, you can look outside. There are lots of things that come in groups of 6s. Bring 2 examples. The rest of the assignment for tonight, besides practicing, will be these 3 problems plus 3 more. 6 times something equals 54. 36 divided by something equals 6. And 6 times something equals 18. Pause the video there. Kendall arranged her pennies in an array with 6 rows and 6 columns. How many pennies does Kendall have? And these 2 problems. Jing charges $7 for each lawn mow. How much money does she earn? And the last one, problem number 10, the grocery store is having a sale on 6 packs of bottled water. So you have 10 problems to do tonight. Let's make sure you guys can see that all the way. Those are the last 6 problems. And that's all for tonight. Practice your 6s. Good night.